Hi everyone, my name is Alistair and today we're going to play rugby. Let's go!
For this lesson you will need a rugby ball, a beach ball, a laundry basket and a bin. If you haven't got these items, you can substitute them with things you have around the home, and that's absolutely fine. Press pause whilst you get things ready. Let's get ready. Find a quiet, clear space to work away from distractions. Ensure the area is safe and that your child is feeling fit and well to take part in the lesson. Check you are wearing the right clothes for sport and physical activity. I'd encourage your child to be as independent as possible with this. Make sure your resources are nearby and use a familiar reference to prepare the learner that the activity is going to start. This could be a symbol, a sound, or even a song. Press pause whilst you get things ready. It's time to look, listen, and learn.
First, before we play rugby, we need to get our muscles ready. In this warm-up, we're going to see if we can get our heart rate up and we're going to practice some of the movements that we tried in our first rugby lesson. So if we can remember the scrum, when we did a rugby tackle, and when we had to stretch and catch the ball. So I've got a rugby ball with me here. It's always good to practice with a ball. So first thing, just to get used to control of the rugby ball. So going to have a move around, so walk around the space. I'm in my garden here. You could do this inside your house or when you're out on your daily exercise, but move in and around the garden. I could turn that into a bit of a jog and go around, think about changing directions. And we're going to start to introduce some of those rugby specific movements. So if we shout stretch, we're going to crouch down and jump up and stretch with the ball. So as I'm moving around, first one, shout stretch, crouch down, jump up and stretch with the ball. Moving round again, and I shout stretch, jump up and catch the ball. The next one, when I say tackle, so we have a rugby tackle, and I'm going to, at that point, I'm going to get down onto the floor, roll over, and get back onto my feet like that. So I've got stretch when I jump up, I've got tackle when I go onto the floor and roll over, and the last one is our rugby scrum. And when I've got a rugby scrum, I get down to my knees and I'm going to crawl forward and see if I can use that power that I have. So we'll try that as we're moving around. It could be a walk, it could be a jog. We're thinking about moving in different directions. We have stretch where we jump, we have tackle when we go down onto the floor and roll over, and we also have the scrum when we're going to crawl and move forward like we would in a rugby scrum. So we'll give that one try. So I'm walking around and scrum. So I come down, crawl, move forward, back onto my feet, and I can start to jog around now. And then stretch. So I'm going to stretch, jump up, keep jogging around, tackle, down onto the floor, roll over, and back onto my feet. Keep going, stretch. You can try that. It's a really good warm-up, and you're practicing those key rugby skills that we've learned in lesson 1. So that might go on for about 5 minutes there. Lots of fun in terms of the rolling around on the floor. If you're doing that inside, just make sure you've got cushions on the floor, you've got enough space, and it's safe. If your child is a wheelchair user, think how you can adapt. So remember when we said the tackle, we could really squeeze tight to the ball, and you could try and see if you could rip the ball off your child and adapt those activities and movements. I've got a bit of a sweat on. I'm feeling hot. My muscles are ready for rugby. I think we're ready to start.
Pause the video to complete your task.
For the next part of our lesson, we're going to practice our passing and build on the skills that we learnt in lesson 1. So remembering those key points of making sure that our body is facing towards the target, we swing our arms gently along and release the ball at the top of that movement and see how we get on with aiming for our targets. Now I've set myself some different targets in the garden here. So I've used a bin, I've got a laundry basket, and I've used some chalk to make some targets on the wall. So that could be a really nice activity before you even start your rugby lesson. You could choose your favourite colours, you could choose your favourite rugby team, and you could draw onto the wall there and make your target. You could use tape. There's loads of ways you can make some targets. So use whatever works best for you in your house. So I'm going to start with aiming for my blue bin target here. So I'm going to make sure that I'm facing the right direction, my body's facing the right way. I'm going to put my hands out to the side. I'm gently swinging my arms a bit like a pendulum, and I'm going to release at the top of the movement. So you can make this a bit more difficult and move further back. You can make it easier and move closer towards your target. So see how your child gets on. As they become more confident, you can start to make things a bit more difficult for them. So my first go, so swinging my arms gently. Again, you can build that sense of anticipation. So after 3, like we've done in lots of our physical development lessons. So 1, 2, 3. That was a good shot. So we've got the bin there. So on to my next target, which is the laundry basket there. So you can use different balls. So I've got my pink softball here, a bit like a beach ball. So again, whatever you've got to hand at home, and I'm going to aim for my basket. It's a bit lower, so I'm going to have to adjust and see if I can come, make sure I'm facing the right direction there. And I'm going to aim, so swinging my arms gently, my body's facing towards the target. After 3, 1, 2, 3, and release. Oh, not quite that time. So a bit more practice needed. And then on finally, now again, as with all of our activities in physical development, we use the step principle to make them accessible for all our children and young people. So if your child is a wheelchair user, think about adjusting the height of your targets, and same principle in terms of my body's facing towards the target there. And I've got some different ones. So I could have a low target here, which is my green target. I've got my white target in the middle and my purple target at the top. And that's really important in rugby because there might be times where we might need to do a higher pass to get it to our teammate and get it over the top of the opponent. So we're starting to think about tactics and how we would play in a rugby game. So I'm going to make sure my body's facing the target. I'm going to swing my arms gently back again after 3, 1, 2, 3. I've hit the green target there. A way where you could practice your catching. So against the wall or something like that, you could do this inside the house with a balloon. It's practicing your passing and catching at the same time. So I'm going to aim for my white target. So again, a bit higher this time. So it's changing how I use that skill of passing. So after 3, 1, 2, 3. Got my white target there, and finally a higher pass here. I'm going to aim for the purple target at the top. So after 3, 1, 2, 3.